Hi, everyone. Today is Wednesday, November 18th, and we are continuing our work with measurement. Monday and Tuesday, we talked about thermometers, how we measure temperature, either your body temperature or outside temperature. Today, we're going to focus on measuring length of different items using a ruler. Now, I know we're not at school, but if you happen to have a ruler, this is what we call a standard ruler. A ruler is 12 inches. This might be helpful as we kind of work this the rest of this week on our math lessons. If you don't, there are some interactive rulers that you can use that we'll link. But if you do that, this might be helpful for you to use. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the different marks on a standard ruler. And I have a little video that I'm going to play. As the video goes on, I'm going to stop it and add a few things. And then we're going to watch about half of it today together. And then tomorrow we're going to watch the other part because it kind of goes into a different or measuring a little bit more specifically. Okay. So today we're going to focus on measuring to the nearest inch and to what we call the nearest half inch. Okay, so watch with me as our guest teacher on the video explains how to do that.
Mrs. Galati has given you some objects to measure and sort into different groups. You need to measure these objects to the nearest quarter inch. A quarter inch? What does that mean? In this lesson, you will learn how to measure objects to the nearest half and quarter inch by using a ruler. Let's review. We measure things in different ways. We can measure how long something is, how heavy something is, how much fits inside, how much time has gone by, and what value something has.
So as you can see, you haven't probably never really thought about measurement in this way. We measure lots of different things in different ways, through money, through clocks, through what we call volume, which means how much something holds, like this water glass, and then a scale, how heavy something is. Those are all different forms of measurement.
We use different tools to measure in different ways. To measure how long something is, or in other words, to measure distance, we can use rulers. They may look different, however, they are all standard, which means an inch is the same size on all measuring tools. Let's take a closer look at this ruler. When I look at this ruler, I see marks on the ruler that are labeled with numbers, as well as several marks in between the labeled ones. We can measure things to the nearest inch if we just looked at the labeled marks. But if we want to use the lines in between, we can measure things to the nearest half or quarter inch. 2 half inches go together to make a whole inch. They are equal.
Okay, so she's talking about measuring to the nearest inch, which would be these whole numbers, 1 all the way to 12 on a ruler. Okay, but if you are measuring something to the nearest half inch, that means something like this nail, for instance, it's longer than 0, but it's shorter than 1. So it comes kind of right halfway in between. And this long mark that you see here, it's halfway between 0 and 1. And so that is the half inch mark. And up here, this is how we write that fraction. This will be really handy when we start working with fractions. So we've got a 1 over a 2, and that's how you write 1/2.
This nail is 1/2 inch long. This nail is 1 inch long. This paper clip is 1 inch long. This paper clip is 1 inch long. And this paper clip is 1/2 inch long because one part of the blue bar is filled in. Looking at this paperclip again, it is important to note that when we're measuring to the nearest 1/2 inch, chances are the paperclips are not going to line up exactly with the inch or 1/2 inch mark. This paperclip is a little longer than an inch, but we can see that it is closer to the inch mark than the 1.5 inch mark.
Okay, so right there you can see that, it's more than an inch, but it's definitely not 1.5 inches. So we would say that this paper clip is about 1 inch. And we use that word about when we're measuring if something's not exact.
This paperclip is closer to the 1/2 inch mark than the 0 inch mark. Measuring to the 1/2 inch is good, but if we want to be more exact, we can...
All right, we're going to stop right there for today. We'll continue tomorrow. She'll talk a little bit more about measuring. We'll review a little bit, and then we'll get into measuring to the nearest 1/4 inch. That's a little harder today. So today then, when you're finished watching this video for guided practice, you are going to go to IXL and you're going to find in math, make sure you're in 3rd grade math, lesson Z3 today. And you're going to work on that today the rest of today and through the week. You're measuring to the nearest inch or 1/2 inch here. And what you're doing, here's an example set up for you. You have an interactive ruler. You can drag this ruler up to what they're asking you to measure. Make sure that you line the 0 mark up with the end of whatever you're measuring. Okay. Notice there's a little gap right here. So if I put the end of the ruler there, it's going to be a little off. I want to make sure the 0 mark is at the end. And I can see that this little twig is about 2 inches. There's our whole number 2. So I'm going to just type that into the box and submit it. Okay. This says now to measure to the nearest 1/2 inch. And I'm going to show you how to type that in the box. So I'm going to drag this ruler up to this nail like that and make sure it's right at the end of that nail. Okay. I can see here's 0. So this nail is at least 1 inch all the way to 2. And it's a little bit more. Here's our 1/2 inch mark on this interactive ruler. So we can say that this nail is about 2 and 1/2 inches. That means it's 2 whole inches and then a 1/2 inch more. Okay, but it's not quite 3. It doesn't go up to 3. So it's 2 and 1/2. And the way that you would type that in the box down here is you're going to put the whole number 2, and then you're going to put a space. And then to type 1/2, it's going to be 1 slash, which is in the lower right-hand corner of your keyboard next to the shift key. And then you're going to put a 2 next to it. So 1/2, 1/2. Okay, make sure you put that whole number in there first, though, so that it reads 2 and 1/2 inches. And then you're going to submit. And that's how you do that lesson. So try to get your SMART score to at least 50 today, and you can work on that for practice. Have a great day.